Okay, now let us take an example and see how this subroutine we are using for copying. Okay, just I'll repeat again once more. So if you have the first number as three zeros, we are using a demarcator. So initially it will be blank 1. Let us say we have, this is our M, this is N. Again we'll have a demarcator, and then we always obviously will have a blank. Let us say we'll start from a state called as Q0. Okay. What I'll do is when I'm in Q0, okay, I'm just telling you the steps orally. After that, we'll actually trace it. What we'll do is we'll convert this into blank. Okay. After converting this into blank, right, we'll change the state because we have done one substantial action. So we'll change the state and we'll move to the next one. So what I'll do is I'll convert this into blank. This is because I've seen this one. Okay. I'll go to Q6. When I'm in Q6, for all the zeros, I'll just keep moving. Okay. And let us say now I'm in Q6 on 1. So this means what? We have seen the M portion already. Okay, because this is a demarcator, right? So when you get this one, okay, you will change the state to Q1. Okay, and this, when I come to state Q1, it is like I have reached the portion of N and I have to do the copying. So, right, for this, these two, I have to copy after this one. Okay. So, how many zeros are there in N? I don't know. So, to remember that, what I'll do is the copying begins, and this copying is nothing but your subroutine. So, that's why Q1 is here. Okay. So, you will see this 0, you will convert it into 2. Okay, 1 0 is converted into 2. Again, it's a substantial action. So you change the state to Q2. Okay. And in Q2, how many ever zeros are there, you'll just move forward. And when you get this 1, it means you have seen all these zeros, isn't it? So after this, you might get a blank for the first time, right? If you get a blank, you are going to convert this blank into 0. So this 0 you copied over here, correct? After you copy it, you have to come backwards. To come backwards, I'll take a change of state to Q3. Now Q3 on 1 will just make me move towards left. And if I have Q3 on 0 also, I'll move towards left. Okay. Now I'll get Q3 on 2. This is already copied, isn't it? So I have to move right. Right? So I move right. When I move right, okay, the copying should begin again, isn't it? So again I make a state change to Q1. Alright. So I'll make the state change to Q1. Once you come to Q1, right? Once you come to Q1, again the same procedure will begin. That is, you will make it as 2, move ahead, come 0, and same thing. Only when the things changes after you made all these 3 into blank, then we'll go back to main. That means all copying is done. And all these symbols also we'll make it as blank and we'll keep only the result. That is the logic. Okay, that is the logic. So we'll require a lot of states over here. The reason is there are so many things. I have completely seen M, then I have seen a marker, then I am copying the nth portion to the end. Then when I am coming back, I am changing those 2's into 0's back, and then I am coming back. Once the M's are all over, I have to make the right side blank till I get a 1, after which the results will be there. That's why we need so many. You can see we have used Q0 to Q10, or I think even more, right? So Q11. So totally 12 states we have used. Okay. It's not complicated, just you need a cool head to understand. So let me start with an example. 3 zeros, demarcator, and 2 zeros, and demarcator. Okay. So obviously beginning and end is blank, and we are starting with the state Q naught. Correct? This is my starting state Q naught. So you can see here Q naught on 0. Make that 0 as blank. So this will be made as a blank. Then I move towards right with Q6. Change the state to Q6. Okay. Why Q6? Why not Q1? You can do it with Q1 also, but then subroutine states will change. That's all. So now you are at this place, right? Now what will you do for Q6 on 0? Nothing. You will just move right, correct? So I will not write it as another state. I will show it here. And then I have come to Q6 on 1. You can see Q6 on 1, which means what? You have seen the mth portion. So next onwards copying should begin. And copy is a subroutine which starts at Q1. So you keep that 1 as it is and you change the state to Q1. Let me rewrite this. So blank blank 001 001 blank. So this is Q1. So we have come to the subroutine. So Q1 on 0 is you convert that 0 into 2, move towards right and change the state to Q2. So just a minute. Okay. So here Q1 on 0, you are going to make this 0 as 2, correct? After making that 0 as 2, you are going to change the state to Q2. You see here Q2 on 0 or Q2 on 1, they just move left. So I'll take it, it moves left. Even when you have 1 also, it moves left. So now we are at Q2 on blank. You see here, Q2 on blank is converting this blank to 0 and moving left and changing the state to Q3. So next what I have is 001, 201. This blank is converted into 0. I move left with the state change to Q3. Okay, Q3. Next Q3 on 1. You see here Q3 on 1 also moves left and Q3 on 0 also moves left. So next Q3 on 1 will be moving left. Q3 on 0 also moves left. So now I have Q3 on 2. If you see Q3 on 2, I'm not making any change to 2. I'm keeping it as it is. So this is blank blank 0012. This 2 will be as it is, but I move towards right and I make the change, state change to Q1. I hope this is clear because from Q1 onwards again copying will start. Okay. So we have already seen if it's Q1 on 0, right? You make this as a 2, Q1 on 0. So this 0 will be converted into 2 and you move towards right and you change the state to Q2. Q2 on 1 here or Q2 on 0, both are moving right. So Q2 on 1 will move right, Q2 on 0 also will move right. Okay. Now Q2 on blank. Q2 on blank will make this blank as 0. So this is blank blank 001221 0. This blank is converted into 0 and you move left with state change to Q3. Okay. So you are at this state Q3. What about Q3 on 0? You can see Q3 on 0 or Q3 on 1 move left, right? So Q3 on 0 you move left and Q3 on 1 also you move left, right? Now what about Q3 on 2? You see here Q3 on 2 is keeping 2 as it is, moving right and changing the state to Q1. Correct? So this 0, 1, 2, 2 will remain as it is. I am moving to right with state Q1. So the meaning of this is the whole of M has been copied over here, right? So we haven't encountered so far Q1 on 1. Q1 on 1 is don't change anything in that 1. Just move towards left and change the state to Q4. As I said on the way back, we are going to convert all those 2's back into zeros. Okay, back into zeros. So Q1 was here. I didn't change that 1. I moved left and I changed the state to Q4. Okay. Now Q4 on 2. See here. That 2 is converted into 0 and move left. Right. So the next state is the first 2 is converted into 0 and you move left. Obviously again this 2 also will be converted into 0 and you move left. Okay. So both zeros, both 2's have been converted. Now what about Q4 on 1? Q4 on 1 tells me that I have converted all n's into zeros. That is all 2's into zeros. Okay. So it's a substantial change. So what I do is Q4 on 1, you can see here, will be 1 as it is and you move right and change the state to Q5. Okay. Change the state to Q5. That means one set of copying is over. Okay. I hope this is clear. Now, what will happen at Q5? Q5 is main, right? You see here, Q5 on the only copying is done using the subroutine. Only copying is done using the subroutine. So moving back, we are doing in main. Okay. Now Q5 on 0, you can see 0 will be kept as it is. You change the state to Q7. Okay. Next Q7 on 1, you keep 1 also as it is. Change the state to Q8. Q8 on 0, you keep the 0 as it is. You change the state to move left and change the state to Q9. Okay. Move the state to Q9. In Q9, if you have 0, keep it as it is and move towards left. Let me rewrite it. So, I was here, so I come here. Right? Now I have blank. Since it's blank, I have to move towards right. Okay? So, blank will not be changed, but I move towards right with Q0. Okay. So when you are at Q9 and 0, what do? Q9 on 0, you just move left, right? So blank, blank. So your Q9 comes here. What about Q9 on blank? You see here, you keep it as blank and you move towards right and you start with Q0. What's the meaning of this? The meaning of this is the whole process starts again. What do I mean by the whole process? This 0 is converted into blank. You move, make this as 2, copy 0. Come back, make this as 2, copy 0. Come back, make these 2 as from 2's to 0's again. Come back. Again, you will come to this stage with Q0 and you will go and copy. So the same procedure is repeated. Okay. So I'll just skip doing the same things again and again. So, and I'll write a place where you have converted all 3 zeros to blank. Okay. Which means what? Here I would have 6 zeros, right? I would have copied 6 zeros and I have come back here, right? and I have come back here with Q7. You remember that, right? When we come back, you can see here on the way back, this is Q7. And then on the left side, you will change it to Q8. So we have come back till that position, okay? So Q7 on 1. So what is there for Q7 on 1? See here, you keep 1 as it is and you move towards left and make it as Q8, like we did in the previous case also. So now this is Q8. Usually so far what we did was on Q8, right, we were finding 0 and then we were converting it into Q9. We were keeping it as 0 and we were going towards left to find a blank, right? And on finding the blank, we were doing it as Q0, etc. Okay. Now you see, we didn't find 0 anymore. On Q8, we found blank. Okay. So this is new transition. On Q8, when I find a blank, I'll keep that as blank and I'll move towards right side and I'll change the state to Q10. Okay, Q10. So here actually erasing will start. We have to erase all this, isn't it? And keep only the result. That's our aim. So erasing should start. So if you have 1 also, it should be erased. And if you have 0 also, it should be erased. Erased means replaced by blank symbols. Okay. So Q10 on 1, you can see. If you have 1, you are going to convert it into a blank. You are going to move right and change the state to Q11. Okay, change the state to Q11. And you can see when you are in Q11, if you get 1 or 0, you should convert them into blank. So zeros, you will convert them into blank. And when 1 comes, you know this is a demarcator. So you are going to change the state. Okay, so this 0, whatever Q11 is pointing to, will be made as a blank. Okay, and you remain in Q11 only when you have 0. Okay, so after this, again this 0 also will be converted into a blank, right? And you move to 1. Again you are in state Q11 itself. Now Q11 tells you that you have erased the M portion also, M number of zeros, and N, both operands have been erased. So this marker also has to be erased. Okay. And then you should go to a final state. Let us call the final state as Q12. So erasing means you can see here, you again convert that also as a blank. This also will be made as a blank. And this is your result. And you move right and you remain in state called as Q12. And you can say that Q12 is your final state with no transitions. Okay. I hope you understood. Even though you have understood, please write some small, you just take a small one. For example, you take a string like this. Okay. Or you take a string like this and see how the copying etc. happens for you to understand it better. Okay. So when doing, if you have doubts, you can come back to me and we'll discuss it, whatever your doubts are. Okay.